showtime. Woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. Silent and profiling. Woo, it's live and in color. Woo!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report on the Buffalo Fan Base Network. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP from the 313. And by my side is my main man, my toucan Sam, the one they call the Apex Man, Mr. Mikey. What's going on, brother?
How you doing, brother? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, and football is right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
And cheers to you. Cheers to you, Chewy, by the way. Sorry to cut you off there. We got a couple people already waiting on us, Mikey. Look, Chris, cannot wait for week one. Holy cow, Josh Allen is going to shine bright. Yes, he is, man. This whole team is going to shine bright, I believe. So, Mikey, are you ready or what, man?
I am, and it's week one of preseason getting ready to start, which I'm super juiced about. I watched a little bit of the Hall of Fame game, but you know, when you don't have stock in those teams, it's hard to watch their backups. Yeah. Like watching the Bills play a preseason game, I have more stock in it because I want to see those backups. You know, I want to see what James Cook looks like. I want to see what Isaiah Hodgins does. You know, what our two young safeties do. You know, how does Khair look? You know, all those little things. So it's a lot different watching the Bills versus watching the rest of the NFL preseason games.
Yeah, no doubt. I even regular season, like I watch Red Zone because I play fantasy football, and it's good like for fantasy football owners to watch that, but only after obviously Buffalo Bills game. But it's tough for me to get into like I can't just go to another channel, even regular season, and just watch a full game of the Vikings versus the Bears or something. Like I just doesn't interest me. I love football, don't get me wrong, but it's a different feeling when you're watching the team you like. And that goes for every team of mine, to be honest with you. Basketball, baseball, like I can't, I think fighting's different. I can sit down and watch UFC whole fight, even if I got a favorite fighter, you know what I'm saying? Or boxing. Yeah, I can watch a whole card and love it, but pay attention or whatever. But yeah, football, like I said, is different for me. I just can't, but I'm glad it's back. And, from what I saw, I'll tell you what, it looked like a decent game. I mean, it was decent high scoring. I mean, they put up some points.
Yeah.
I like the karate kick, the guy the running back who did like a spinning.
Amir Dula.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty cool. Chewy in the house. Says, got to hear both of you guys discuss the IBJ rumor. Yes, the OBJ. I know what you meant, Chewy. I'm just busting your balls, man. Yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit later. But, yeah, it's heating up. It could happen, it depending on the price, but we're going to get into that later. Let's start, I guess, with some training camp talk, Mikey. And they had the blue and red scrimmage. What was your thoughts on that, the blue and red?
First off, you killed it with the video that you put out, because I was one of those guys that was scrolling through Twitter to try to find updates on it. It was, I thought Von Miller wasn't out there. It sounded like the defensive line really didn't go full out because, they wanted to put on a show and they were working on things. Because really the defensive line has killed our offensive line up to this point. And our offense can't do a whole lot. So ultimately, I think they got what they needed out of it. Little concerned to hear Khair struggled so bad, but you know what? He's going to against those two mammoth wide receivers that we got.
100%. Listen, it's no rookie for the most part comes out and just is dominant from day one in preseason and in practice. Like the good thing that everybody needs to know is this guy has a good head on his shoulders, and he's going to take this as a learning experience, and he's going to take it back home to the film room that he's going to get with coaches. He's going to ask what did I do wrong? What can I do to get better? Like, he's not that kind of player where I don't think he's just going to go home and be like, oh, I thought I did okay. And that's it. You know what I mean? He doesn't come across that way. So the good news, like I said, he seems like a guy that wants to learn, he's not going to take this, and go, oh, that's it. I suck. Like, so don't get too like caught up in the blue and red scrimmage or anything you hear now. If we're in week 6 and he's getting burnt and stuff, then we might have a problem. But I wouldn't be concerned this early.
Oh, I'm not concerned like that, because ultimately, our guys know their guys. We're not dialing up,
right?
A bunch of some designated coverages, or designing different looks or scheming. They're just going out and playing base coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Very vanilla. So at the end of the
what? Sorry, go ahead, Mikey. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, so at the end of the day, I don't really look. Let's be perfectly honest. If he was starting to get burned, we wouldn't see him out there anyways. It'd be Trey and it would be Dane, and they would sit him on the bench until he was ready. But I don't think we're gonna have that problem. I think he's gonna be all right.
Yeah, I heard Cam Lewis had a good scrimmage. I heard from some people that were there that he looked pretty good. What did you think about the red helmets? Because Chewy came in with the red helmets.
I love the red helmets. I hate the blue stripes. That was on top of that.
I am so with Mikey. And mind you, I didn't even ask you about this prior to the show. We didn't really talk. Actually, we never even brought it up. So
no. Yeah,
we are in agree. Usually me and Mikey don't all like. I would say we disagree more than we agree, but this one we totally agree with. I like the red, but the blue stripe just doesn't go right. It doesn't.
Like, you need the white. You need that white that's there.
100%.
Even if they kept the 2 blue stripes and just threw a couple stripes on the outside that were white, it would bring, But man, it just looked weird.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I thought the visor part was cool with it. Like, I always like that, but I think there's a rule in the NFL that can't have those anyway. So clear that out of your guys' minds that the visor thing is not happening. I think that's just for practice. They allow that, but the red helmet.
They allow the visors.
No, they allow visors, but certain tinted visors they don't allow, and I don't think they allow those ones that are like
red.
Foil kind of so those, like the ones Josh is wearing, like the blue or the orangey kind of, they won't allow that. Also, the Buffalo Bills already said the helmets aren't coming out this season, so just a heads up, guys, it ain't coming out this season. Chewy coming in with a super chat. Thank you, Chewy, who is on the bubble now for both sides of the ball. Mikey, I'll let you go ahead and with that.
Oh man, we're gonna break down into the the depth chart that came out today, but as of today, before any of the preseason games, I think there's a lot of guys on the bubble. So let's just go. Depending on what position you're talking about, let's go with running backs. I truly believe Duke Johnson, Zach Moss are both fighting for a roster spot. Wide receivers, I think it's that 6th spot that people are fighting for, and I think it comes down to the Tavon Austins. It comes down to the Isaiah is pretty locked in. Comes down to Isaiah Hodgins.
Yeah.
Jake
Who's
Kumaro.
having a good camp. They say he's having a good camp.
Yeah, Jake Kumaro. I think he's right there on those bubble. Because he's just a special teams only guy. They have 5 locked-in receivers. They have Diggs, Davis, McKenzie, Crowder, and Shakir. Or like they're 5 locks. And then they have 1 for sure, maybe 2 spots, depending on how many they keep for all those other guys. On the O-line, I think Mance, Van Rotten are guys, Cody Ford on the bubble. When we look at the defensive line, the Mike Loves, Shaq Lawson, although I think Shaq's pretty safe. I think our 9 defensive linemen are pretty set, but people love Mike Love. So from a linebacker's perspective, we have, I think Dodson, Milano, Edmonds, and Bernard are all safe. But then you go into the Matakaviches, the Smiths, the Giles Harrises, all those guys are fighting for a roster spot. And then in our secondary, Josh Thomas is fighting for a safety spot. Nick McLeod is fighting for a corner/safety spot. So you have a ton of bubble guys that these preseason games that we're getting ready to launch into are really big for those guys. Not even just so they make the Bills team, but to put that tape out there so maybe they're picked up by somebody else.
Yeah.
Cam Lewis.
Yeah, Mikey just gave you a full list of roster bubble. I'll give you a few. I'm gonna say Zach Moss is one of them.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Duke Johnson is another, as far as like offensive side. Marquez Stevenson as well. I think Marquez is really on thin ice. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think right now, for everything that I hear so far in camp, not too good. And if Isaiah Hodgins is showing out in camp, then yeah, they're going to have decisions to make. But if they decide to cut Marquez Stevenson, I don't know if he's a player that someone's going to pick up right away. I think he would be almost safe to get back on the practice squad. So I could see that happening. I almost could see the Bills cutting him and then nobody picking him up, and then he's coming back on the practice squad. As far as defense goes, I did say Shaq Lawson from the beginning when he first got signed. I thought like he could possibly, but right now, I think you're right, Mikey. I think he makes the team because of the experience he has with Leslie Frazier and this team. I still think he has the juice to bring it. I don't know. That's tough, man. The defensive side is really, really tough for me right now. I think AJ Epinesa is a potential cut or trade candidate only because Brandon Beane likes to do that at the very end to kind of juice somebody up. Even, this guy, it just, I could see it happening if he can get something for him, if he doesn't see him in the future on this team. You got to remember that. It's not about this season. It's about the future, the long haul. So I definitely could see him maybe being like a trade guy. Other than that, the Griffin, which is
McLeod.
Yeah, McLeod. Those all
Lewis,
guys
like that corner spot.
Yeah, those guys are all I would consider on the bubble. I think all those guys, these are the guys you're going to want to watch in preseason because they're fighting for a job. And
there's one job for like 5 of them in that secondary.
Yeah.
Because you have your standard guys there. And Daniel Gary's, I agree. I think Matakevich also makes it. He's special teams only. He's a four-team special teamer, and he's a captain on special teams. So I do agree. Yeah, I don't know. Tommy's.
I don't think that's far based. I don't think that's so
absolutely.
Off-base.
If you've listened to anything that Brandon Beane has said, the team loves AJ more than the fans love AJ right now. Listen, Cody Ford is still on this team, and he hasn't done nothing.
He is, but listen, when a trade call, when if somebody calls for him, let's just say hypothetically they do, it really works out to be a business. I mean, listen, this is a business.
So who do you replace him with?
We have a lot of edge guys, right? We still got Boogie. We still got
so that now we have a lot of
depth.
Now we have 4 instead of 5 edge.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't get another one in the draft next year. What are you thinking about?
I'm not even talking. So right now we're probably keeping 9 defensive linemen. We're going to keep the 4 D tackles and 5 D ends because you can always rotate some of the D ends into D tackles if you need to. So with that are 5 D ends: Vaughn, Groot, Boogie, Shaq. AJ, and Shaq.
All right.
If you get rid of AJ, who's taking that spot?
Yeah, but you still got 4, and you can still do listen. You don't have to.
But then if someone gets hurt,
not every team has 5. Of course,
but then someone gets hurt,
of course. But we can say that. Yeah, but you could say that same with the running back position. Let's say you get rid of. Let's say you do get rid of like our bruiser and Zach Moss, and people are going to say, "Well, you don't have that bruiser anymore." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying you can almost say that almost every position. If you get rid of his receiver, now you don't have the. What if a kick returner gets hurt? Now you got to go out and find a kick.
I'm just saying, the same. It's not the same.
I think every position you can always have. You always need depth. I'm just saying. I think. I don't know. You asked me if I think he could be on the roster.
I would put money on AJ being here week 1.
Yeah, I say he's being traded or cut. I said
Chewy.
He's on the bubble.
So it's not about dropping the hammer on him. I'm just trying to explain what my thought process is. Why I don't think that he'll be moved on.
Hey, all I can say is if he doesn't work out, then I'm going to go back on this and I'm going to say if they had an opportunity to get something for him, then of course
we'll never know that.
We won't ever. Obviously, we'll never know that. I know that. My point is, if it doesn't work out, then then we can come back and say, well, I guess we were wrong on that draft pick because he was a second round draft pick, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so now we're giving him, what year is he going to? Year 3,
this
correct?
Year 3, yep.
Okay, so by year 3, let's say hypothetically he doesn't do good. Now he's losing even more value, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it comes down to just cutting him at that point. If we bring in another edge, let's say you draft. Let me bring in a hypothetical thing. So let's say next year we draft, we get another edge. Let's say AJ has another subpar season, and I hope this is not true. I hope AJ flourishes because I was an AJ fan. I thought, man, last year all the talk in camp, I thought, man, this guy's gonna come out and he's gonna be a beast, man. Right? He got his weight back. Everything was looking good in camp. The Dolphin game, I'm like, damn, right? And then just felt like he just jumped off the cliff. We never found him again. So let's say he has another season like that. We draft an edge, let's say whenever round, 4th round, 3rd, and he outperforms AJ. Now we got to cut him. Now we got nothing. Instead of maybe potentially,
we wouldn't cut him
next season if a guy beats him out in camp. Now we have
because
you don't know who we're bringing. Yeah, but you don't know who you're bringing in free agency.
Well, first off, we don't have a lot of dollars, so we're not bringing a bunch of.
Well, don't tell me about that.
So, anyways, I don't
want to hear it. I heard that last season.
Shaq Lawson is on a 1-year deal, so you're going to have to bring in another DN regardless of what AJ does. So, and let's be perfectly honest, we said the same thing about Cody Ford last year, and he's here this year.
True.
In year 4.
I am very. I'll be honest. So I am super surprised on the Cody Ford, but they traded the teller. Like
Daniel Garies calls it. Daniel Garies, he does not cut.
No, I know that. I didn't say cut. I'm saying trade.
But if we don't want him, what makes you think other teams are going to want him?
Because their other teams always want something. Like there's always a player for another team.
Listen,
we got rid of
him going anywhere.
Nathan Peterman got picked up. AJ McCarron got traded.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad players we had that we got something for. So you can never say never as far as like what another team wants, right? They can see something in them. I'm just saying. I don't think it's going to happen either. Yeah. I agree with you. I'm not saying. You asked me what players maybe could be on the bubble, and I think he's one of those guys because if he gets outperformed and he's back on the bench again or potential practice squad, what does that say? Like, honestly, what does that say? Like, if he's just getting outperformed yet again and we see nothing from AJ, are we back here next season on the same podcast saying the same thing and the same offseason about is he on the bubble or not again?
No, he'll be on the bubble again, but at the same time, it'll be the same way we look at the Cody Ford situation now.
Yeah, which we're not working out.
Which we're not expecting anything but a depth player, and that's what he would be.
That's
how you doing, Adam?
Good. Let's go.
Welcome back, buddy.
Since draft night. Damn, well, welcome back for sure. Love the content. It's prime time, Adam. Okay, what's going on, brother? So yeah. Anyways, enough of the AJ before I like lose my mind. Yeah, I'd be dreaming of AJ all night, which is not good. Okay, so Mikey, did you see the video? I wanted your thoughts on this because I didn't talk to you about this either. Of Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, and I believe it was at the Blue and Red. I could be wrong, but they're running into the tunnel, and fans are literally throwing footballs and jerseys at them, and Josh Allen gets hit in kind of like the nuts.
Yeah, I did see that.
with a football box, not only a football, like a fucking box. And he turns around. He was pissed. Trust me, there was probably more he wanted to say, but he bit his tongue. He just said the disrespectful thing. What's your thoughts on the fans there? Now, it could have been a kid, by the way. I don't know. No one. I never seen the person who threw it. By the way, in that picture, real quick, where all the fans are to the side, where you can kind of quick see Jason Malloy, who's on our channel, guys. He does the Warpath crossover podcast. You could see him.
All those bank it for
with
fan
his
base
kid.
too.
Yes. You could see him there with his kid.
Okay.
But anyways, go ahead, Mikey.
Yeah. First off, stop throwing stuff at our $258 million quarterback.
Right.
Don't throw crap at him.
Right.
Ask him to sign something, great. But don't chuck something at him when he's not looking. You could tell he wasn't stopping to sign anything. He was just running in.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I can't believe we have to say that to people. Don't throw things at your quarterback.
Yeah, and by the way, that wasn't like it wasn't like a jersey where it was floating down. It was like a hard box, man. Like,
and he got like the corner of it too, right?
Right. Man. It took him a minute to kind of
right in the jewels.
like understand what happened, like kind of like soak it in. But that, even if it didn't hit him, let's just say hypothetically they're just throwing shit. It's just a stupid thing to do. Like, don't do that unless they stop and are like, "Hey, yeah, go ahead," you know what I mean? Like. Yeah. What if it hit him in the head or an eye? Like, you know what I mean? Like, things can hit you in the eye. Like, that could. Now, I know it sounds petty, and we're here talking. It could have been some kid. It might have been. It might have been a 12-year-old. We don't know that. But
Daniel, I agree.
Don't do it.
Daniel, I agree. Throwing a football box is something more like a drunk guy would do than a kid.
Or he was with his kid, and he was like, "I'll get you that damn autograph, one way or the other."
And why I agree, they are expensive.
Yeah, and well, he lost that football. It went into the garbage can. He quit. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder because I saw somebody like scooping all the jerseys in a box. So I wonder if like they lose everything. Anyone who's throwing crap over is gone. So,
yeah, that's what Daniel says here in the chat. He's like, why do people think throwing that stuff they would get their stuff back? Like, really?
It's considered garbage unless they actually throw it back, I would think. Like, it's not your cell phone. You didn't lose it. Like, it's just a dumb thing, man.
Chewy with the knowledge. Chuck Foreman got injured with the fans throwing a snowball at him.
Oh, you see? A stupid snowball, you know? So, yeah, I think but security also has to get up on that, too, a little better,
Absolutely.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, where are they the whole time people are throwing crap? You know what I mean? Like, be smart about it, bud. But anyways, yeah, I wanted to get your opinion on that. So what other stuff's going on in training camp, Mikey, that you want to talk about? Oh, the Reggie Gilliam.
Yeah, Reggie Gilliam signed a new 2-year deal, which is fantastic. I love Gilliam. We've talked about it. He was going into training camp. I thought he was a bubble guy. I always thought he was going to make it because he played the hybrid fullback, tight end, four-face special teams guy. But you never know what they're actually going to do.
Right.
Locking him up to a 2-year deal before he hits restricted free agency was a smart move by Bean. So we don't run into the 100%. Ryan Bates issue we ran into last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, enjoyed that. He wanted to stay here. He was super. I don't know. Did you watch his press conference today? He was juiced about it. He was so excited.
I missed it. I wanted to watch it, but I had some stuff.
Go back and when you get a chance, go back and watch it.
I know they said it was unexpected. I saw that part. Like he wasn't expecting it. And it was just like kind of caught him off guard. Like I did catch a glimpse of something. I forget where, on Twitter maybe. But yeah, good for him. And dude, he's a fullback that I thought he helped the run a lot last season when he was in there. Mm-hmm. And he's really good on special teams. Like he's a guy that and not that we need it right now because he got OJ Howard, but he is, let's say God forbid Howard goes down, Knox goes down for a game or two. He could still fill in at tight end because that was his natural position. Yeah. Mikey, real quick, I go ahead and I got to do something real quick.
All right. Yeah, so looking in here, Daniel Garson says it's a process guy, versatile fullback, tight end, H-back. Absolutely. Love guys like that. The special teams guys, those guys who are versatile that can fill in anywhere. I mean, I know who was one of the coaches said, I can see him playing guard if we needed him to. That's just the type of guy he is across the board. Walked on in college, walked on in the NFL, undrafted free agent, and landed himself a second contract. So good for him. Wise in here. I know Bubble Guy, Bubble Hash. McDermott loves versatility. He absolutely does. Simple to Own came in. Love this channel. Thank you. Appreciate it. I don't have the ability to show your super chat, but just know we appreciate it. Like talking to your buds in a bar. Exactly. That's what this is. It's a bunch of us here talking to a bunch of other Bills fans. That's what Tommy and I wanted to create. We wanted to bring in the guys in the chat and have this conversation. It's not about what me and Tommy have to say. This conversation is driven by the chat and what you guys want to hear.
Hey, real quick, Simple to Own. I appreciate the love and support of the channel, and thanks for coming in real quick on that, Matt.
Yeah, I did say thank you. I told him I didn't have access to show the super chat, but we did appreciate it. I was just while you were down, I was talking a little bit about our guy and his journey, Gilliam's journey. He was a walk-on at Toledo, got himself a 4-year degree, undrafted free agent, here in Buffalo, and landed him a second contract. He beats the odds. Also, he played in high school. He didn't even play on he was played it for a small school that didn't win a lot either. So it wasn't like he's some big time recruit. He's just a guy who just beats the odds. And McDermott loves those guys.
Oh, dude, he absolutely loves those guys. Like, so does Brandon Beane. Like,
yeah,
I'm telling you, man. They're
both those guys though. Brandon Beane started as an intern and worked on both sides of the, he worked on the sales side and the front office side. Then, McDermott started as an intern. They both worked their way up that way. So it doesn't surprise me.
And we talked about this multiple times with the Buffalo Bills since Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott got here. They love even their drafts. They love drafting guys that have something to prove.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like guys with upside and turning them into good to great players. Because, like I said, I keep going back to this whole the Josh Allen thing. Like it really is amazing. Like now it isn't because people are like, "Oh, Josh Allen's the best. He's the best. He's the greatest." That wasn't the talk in 2018. That wasn't the talk in 2019, right? Even though we got to the playoffs, right? All I heard that offseason was Josh Allen, that Houston game. His completion percentage. This is who he will be for his whole career. He will, throw the ball, like do crazy, stupid things. And that's all I heard, right? From 2018 to 2019 season. But look, this is what Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott saw in this kid. They saw that he could get better. They had a feeling that that's just the way he was, his personality, his work ethic, his upside. And Josh Allen took it to another level. And so is our other players that we drafted, taking it to another. Listen, Gabriel Davis, I don't think many people were up on him on his draft night, right? And look, now Gabriel Davis is being talked about more and more and more and more. I think that's going to be the same for Gregory Rousseau. I think it's going to be the same for Spencer Brown. Like all these guys with upside. And then you got the guys that are the late round picks or the guys that are UDFAs that are coming around, right? That are starting to prove themselves, right? The Teron Johnsons of the world, right? The Saran Neals, right?
Milano.
The list goes on and on. Yeah, Milano. The list goes on and on and on, guys. So
Ryan Bates.
Ryan Bates, right. So these guys are what teams aren't looking at or are scared to take a chance on. And Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott are saying, we like it. We're getting these guys. We think they have something to prove. Now, they're not going to hit on all of them. No. I think Cody Ford was another guy that had upside, but
high ceiling.
Right.
He was a high ceiling guy who hasn't panned out yet.
Right.
Because we did that. When you go back and look at our first couple rounds, we did it with Allen, Edmonds, Ford. We did it with Oliver. We did it with Brown. Rousseau. All super high, ceiling guys, but they all had really low floors too. None of them, I think the highest floor of all those guys I just named was probably Ed Oliver.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
knew
Ed Oliver.
we
You're
knew he
right.
was going to be solid regardless. It was
Yeah,
just a matter of how good he's going to be. You
100.
know,
I
all
agree.
the
I
other
agree with you.
guys, yeah, all the other guys were super, high
Maybe
ceiling.
Edmonds. Maybe Edmonds had a little hyped
Well,
up too when we drafted Edmonds.
Edmonds was an
Yeah,
outside backer that we transitioned into a middle linebacker.
right. But I mean, coming out of the
Yeah.
draft, I think he was he was.
Yeah.
They knew that he had potential to be really, really good.
Yeah.
I think Josh Allen
he had a
was
higher,
question mark.
yeah. He had a higher floor. You're right. But,
Right.
When you look at, Allen, you look at Brown, you look at Rousseau,
Yeah.
like all those guys had super high ceilings, but they weren't sure what the floor was on those guys. It could have been
Nope.
really bad.
It could have, it could have been us going, damn, we need a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
like many teams.
I think Kyer Elam's that way. He has a really high ceiling. I think his floor is, he'll probably be an average cornerback as a floor. The guy has the bloodline in him.
I agree.
I
agree with that.
But his ceiling is so high. They take chances on those freak guys that have those super high ceilings, and they bet on themselves to be able to bring it out of them.
Thanks, Charity, man. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, you know who else too? Speaking of, who's really showing out right now in camp?
Mm-hmm.
He got hurt, a little banged up, but Khalil Shakir Shakir right now, and I said it on draft night, or maybe not draft night, but then that week or something. I thought
Gabe Davis.
I thought Khalil Shakir was the steal of the draft for the Buffalo Bills. Like I had one the year before, which I thought was Marquez Stevenson, which it just sucks, going back on Marquez.
It just hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Yeah, just stay in the healthy thing, and just I think his thing was a little bit of bad luck, right? A little bit of bad luck, the health thing. But Khalil Shakir, if he can stay healthy, like I don't know his history of in college about injuries, but he is looking very good in camp. Now it's just camp, right? So
he's been as advertised.
Yes. He catches, let me tell you, he catches everything. Like I saw his college tape, and the one thing that was like everyone was raving about was his hands. This dude, if it's up there, he's getting the ball. Yeah, like he is getting
we talked about him during our draft specials, Tommy. I don't know if you remember, but I told you my comp to him was Bobby Trees, Robert Woods. The way he played at Boise reminded me so much of the way Robert Woods plays the game.
Yeah, you're right. They're very similar. Very similar. Very similar. You want to answer this by Chewy?
Yeah. What position gives me more stress, O-line or corners? I would say today it's the O-line because we haven't seen all the guys come back yet. Brown's still working his way back in. Saffold's still working his way back in. I know Bates just got back. So until I can see all those guys together, I'm going to say the O-line. Yeah. Once they're all back, until I understand what's going on with Trey, I think over long term, I think it's the corners because I don't know what Trey is looking like. If Trey's back, it'll be the O-line across the board. Yeah. But overall, we have a super deep team. Super deep team.
So for me, what's giving me stress right now, I'm going to say the O-line because of the injuries, the early injuries that we had with Saffold being out, though he did return to training camp, by the way. We didn't mention that yet.
Yeah, he's working his way back in like Brown.
Yeah, which is a great thing because rib injuries are tough. I got to tell you guys, breathing wise. But anyways, it worries me a little bit because you got to get, you got to get continuity with the other players, the guy beside you. You got to get used to, Josh
Bates
Allen.
Talked about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about it. Not to cut you off, but Bates talked about the continuity thing. And he says, you need to get continuity on the field with reps. He said, but the way Eric Cromer, is in the film room, he said that's a huge piece of it. He said, so I don't feel like from a continuity standpoint that we're behind schedule because most of their work is done in the film room to understand. And then they do walkthroughs. And the walkthroughs is where, you saw Spencer Brown in the walkthroughs. You saw Roger Sassel in the walkthroughs. So they're still getting those reps. They're just not doing it in live action yet. So they said, Bates went on a long tangent about it today. It was awesome to listen to him talk about it. But Aaron Cromer has already made a huge difference in stuff like that.
Of course. This isn't OG Bobby Johns. I mean, like, this
Who
is
got in a fight with a linebacker today at training camp.
This is a guy that knows what he's doing, right? Like, clearly, right? Like, but yeah, no, I going back to what I was saying. So, I would say the O-line still, and I understand what you're saying, Mike, with the film, and I know you got one of the best offensive line coaches in the business, but it still worries me a little bit, you know.
Until we
I
see
want
them, right?
Yeah, until we see them live. I just want them. I want to know a good depth chart, which, by the way, we're going to get into in a minute, where it's like, okay, week 1, this is where we're at. We got the guys that we thought were going to be starting. I will say the Spencer Brown back surgery thing is a little concerning, though. I'm glad he got it done early. I wish he got it done a little earlier, but I hope he comes back 100% after that, because backs are really tough to, like, you don't know the pain someone's going, like, I have no idea. So I hope that he comes back and he's good. You know what I mean? It's not bothering him, because if that's going to be the case, he's a big guy. You know, it's a lot of weight, a lot of bending, and he's an athletic offensive lineman. He's moving a lot. So his back needs to be 100. You know what I mean?
Well, it is because he's back taking team reps again. He split first team reps today with Queensberry. So,
good.
you know, he is making those back. He's been slowly working his way back. The trainers have been super cautious with him. But he did every other play they switched out today, which was cool to see.
So you see this, I heard this comment in our group chat, by the way. Somebody said this. And it was Mookie Hawkins brung up. I think
you are Gabe so like,
and
like, what is your deal with him? You like, is he like your idol?
How
you are so
dare you bring up Molds
of Molds? Oh my Lord!
Are
you guys related?
Oh man! All right, so listen, here we go. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the whole "this guy could be this guy" thing. I never have, like, in general.
He's built,
you know
like Mike Molds.
No, I'm just saying, like, just comparing another player to another. Like somebody came out today and said, like, Josh Allen is the new version of Ben Roethlisberger. Like, no, he's not. Like, he's not Ben. He's not. He's Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Like, stop comparing another guy to another guy. He could be like this guy, Aaron Donald. Like, Ed Oliver could be. Remember that comparison? Yeah. Ed Oliver gonna be there. No, he's not. Aaron Donald's Aaron Donald. Ed Oliver's gonna create his own pathway to be
Aaron
Ed
Donald's
Oliver.
one of one. At
Gabe Davis. I love Gabe Davis. But Eric Molds was Eric Molds, and Eric Molds will always be that dude. And I'll be honest with you, I love Gabe Davis, I do. But Eric Molds, I think, was a little faster than Gabe Davis, like his speed wise.
Yep.
Okay, and I also think he was a little bit bigger in frame at the time. Now Gabe Davis is starting to gain weight, and he could get to that size, that built.
I think he's that size now.
Yeah,
he's
so
like 227
right. Well, you're right with the added weight. So
yeah,
he is probably on that same size, but I don't think he has the speed of Eric Molds. Like, Eric Molds was sneaky fast. I'm not saying Davis is slow, not at all. But I think they're a little bit different in that sense. But Gabe Davis is going to make a mark in the NFL. I truly believe that, and I think he's only getting better. And I think Josh Allen, the fact that Josh Allen is starting to trust him more, is going to be the key to Gabe Davis's success this year. Because I think the last year in the playoffs was that moment where Josh Allen said, "I trust you." Like, in my eyes,
I actually disagree with
that.
I think it goes back. You know, I think it goes back to that first playoff game against the Colts when he threw those sideline passes. I think that's when he realized he trusted him. He was just in a different role. Right. He was in a different role last year.
I could see that too.
Emmanuel Sanders came in.
I could see that too, but I still think I still think people, and I understand the Sanders thing, but I still think he kind of fell off a little bit during the start of the season. He was kind of in nowhere land, and maybe that was because Josh was trying to feed that ball to Emmanuel Sanders a little bit more to maybe, like, hey, he's the vet guy, like, maybe. But I think overall, I still think Gabe Davis was a better player than Emmanuel Sanders last year. It just maybe we were forcing the ball a little bit more to Sanders early on. And in the playoffs, I think Gabe Davis is where he kind of shined and said, "Hey, I could be that guy."
Big game.
You know what I mean?
He's a big game player, much like Josh. When the lights are on, that's when he's at his best.
Now, the Cook comparison to Thurman, no, I understand. Listen, Thurman Thomas was a great ball catcher out of the backfield. Really, one of the best to do it in that position. Cook will be that guy, but I don't think Cook will be what Thurman was in running. Thurman was a different kind of animal. Different size, totally different size. Yeah, I think Cook's more of the he's going to be. I think his career is going to be more of the pass catching back. He could possibly get to 1,000 yards if he starts to bulk up a little bit, especially in his legs. But he's a shiftier player. He's a little bit more speedier than Thurman. But Thurman was I think Thurman was more well rounded as a running back than James Cook will probably be, in my opinion. I think James Cook won't be like James Cook power back. Like Thurman could take it up the middle and break a couple tackles and go. James Cook will never. It's not his game. I don't think he's going to go and break
Can't say
tackles.
never.
I can't say never, but he's not built like that right now.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
He's not built like that right now to go up the middle and break some tackles off. Like, I will say this, like Devin Singletary, for as little as he is, he can do that. Believe it or not, he can break a tackle. He can run people over because of his size. He's short, but he's 220 pounds. He's a big dude. Like, he has a big lower body. And so is Zach Moss. Zach Moss's legs are gigantic, right? Like, that's what they're expecting out of Zach Moss, to take it up the middle and be able to break tackles, beeline it, right? He's not doing that, but that's what they wanted. So I don't think that's not his game. I think James Cook is more to the outside and more of a pass catcher. But it could be, like you said, Mikey, maybe he gains weight. Maybe he gets that down, but I don't think that's his style.
I think James Cook is a higher rated than CJ Spiller. I would like to say Cook is a better receiver than Spiller was. And I think he has a better feel for running than Spiller did. Spiller was more of an outside only guy. Get him to the edge and let him go. I would say James Cook was, if you try to find a comparison, and I'm not a huge fan of comparisons,
right?
His game is more of an Alvin Kamara type. He's more of the zone, wide zone, pass catching, split him out type of back.
Yeah.
Rex Burkhead. Those type of guys, Austin Eckler.
Like, who I compare Spiller to? Like Etienne in Jacksonville. Like, they have very similar games, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they are like breakaway speed guys, but they're limited. You know what I mean? But they could take it to the house like that, and they're also, you could put him back in kick return. CJ Spiller was excellent at punt return.
As a returner, yeah.
Yeah, dude, he was super. He could take it to the house. He had that electric speed, but he also was missing a lot in the running game. And that's why he didn't stick around long. That's why I don't even know how long was CJ Spiller in the NFL for? Do you know, Mike? I don't think long, right? I could be wrong.
6 years. I think it's like 6 years, because he played his all his time here in Buffalo, and then I think he ended up in New Orleans for a minute and somewhere else for a minute. Like, he didn't play long.
Yeah, that's not a long time.
I totally agree with the whole
Thurman thing. Yeah.
The whole Thurman thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to really let these players play out to start.
Like, his game today fits more of like the Rex Burkhead, Austin Eckler, those pass catching guys who can run the ball. Like, Austin Eckler's gotten better and better running the ball every year. And that, now he's like one of those guys who, but there's a reason why they brought in Isaiah Spiller in LA, was to help to handle that big load for, 4th and 1, you're not dropping back to throw it. You need that hammer. So I think his game fits more of that mold today, but I don't want to put any limitations on the kid, because he could get bigger and he could, become more of that type of runner.
Yeah. So real quick. So Chewy brung up in the beginning of the show about OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. I know he's not what he used to be, Mikey. He's not. Let's be real.
Yep.
He's still a playmaker, though. He still can contribute and make. I still think it would be a good addition, but it just depends on the price. What's your thoughts on the OBJ thing? What's your thoughts on the rumors? Do you think they're just kind of just having fun on Twitter, or whatever that was, TikTok, or whatever the hell they were talking about?
I'm not sure OBJ's going to be ready to play this year at all. You have to remember, he blew his knee out in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know. Late.
Yeah. So if he is ready, depending on where we stand, you know what I mean? Would I be happy to have him? OBJ is a super talented wide receiver. He can help any team.
Yeah.
Unless you have Baker Mayfield throwing him the ball.
Yeah, it was a hot topic.
I mean, on Twitter.
Well, not even Twitter. Oh, by the way, real quick, guys, because I always forget to tell you this. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit the like, hit the thumbs up, hit the notification bell. And that will remind you guys when we're going live, when any of our other content is going live. So just do me a favor, hit that. Also, we do take super chats now because finally this channel got monetized after a lot of hard work. So just a heads up on that, guys. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, back to the OBJ thing. So
yeah.
I posted because I've been doing these training camp videos, and it got a lot of like chats going back and forth on the training camp video I did today, which was OBJ. You know, he was part of the story. Mm-hmm. And I would say right now, at least going on that video clip, I would say 75% are against it. I would be for it. However, it depends on the price tag, right? I'm big on that. It depends on the price tag. And I hear a lot of chatter, oh, he'll take the number 2 spot. I don't think so at all. That's not what they know what they would bring him in here for. When he went to LA, he wasn't like taking the 2 spot right away. Like he was more of a, okay, we're going to get you in a late playoff run. We need you here as just an extra guy, an extra threat. And that's really what he was. And I think that's what he is right now, especially if he's going to sign anywhere this season, meaning maybe next season he gets a 2-year deal. Let's say he comes in on any team. I'm just throwing it out there. Let's say he goes to the Rams, okay? And he does a minimum deal for the rest of the year. And let's say he does pretty good. Okay, guess what he's doing? He's building himself up for free agency to go sign a contract for like a 3-year deal somewhere else, right? So he knows wherever he goes is probably just going to be, he knows his role. Yeah, he knows his role. He's probably going to go on a contender. And if you're a contender, that means you probably got depth, right? You probably got those positions already filled, but you need maybe an extra piece to put you a notch ahead of the rest. Mm-hmm. And I think he understands that. He ain't coming in. Let's say we do sign him, he ain't coming in going, I want the ball. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Like I just don't see that happening. He
didn't do that in LA last year. He came in and just wanted to fit in with the guys. I mean, Cooper Kupp led the world in all the categories last year, and OBJ would get 4 catches a game, 5 catches a game, land a touchdown. Mm-hmm. He was a fantastic number 2, number 3. He was really the number 3, and then Woods got hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Van Jefferson even started in the number 2 role until he got up to speed. So I think Daniel Gary is right. He comes in and says, he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. He won't be healthy to play until November, December. I think it's more like December, January.
But I'd still be okay with it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'd be okay with them bringing him in and just another weapon. But that's saying we have the room for him.
Exactly. Well, and we're also talking about, guys, December, right? Let's say around December-ish, play it safe. Who knows by then what is going on with us?
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know if McKenzie gets banged up. You have no idea.
Crowder.
You don't know if Gabe Davis is hurting a little bit, right? Or maybe, let's say hypothetically, listen, Jim Kelly, let's go back. Jim Kelly got hurt against the Oilers in a playoff game, right? He didn't even get to play that game. We had a good backup to go in and do the job, and then Jim Kelly came back in. So I'm just saying, let's say Gabe Davis has to miss 1 game, first playoff game. I would love to have OBJ if he could fill in for that spot. You know what I'm just saying? So you got to take all that in consideration. So I'm just saying, when it gets to December, I think is when, if he's not signed by then, and depending on how we're playing as a team, then we make that decision. I think then Brandon Beane goes, okay, you know what? We might need him. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to sign him like today or anything. So I wouldn't worry about that.
There's no guarantee he's even going to be able to play this year. It's all
100%. Exactly. That's why I would wait.
A ways away. Yeah.
Exactly. I wouldn't even touch it until. Listen, they're not going to touch it anyways unless they get a doctor, unless they get an evaluation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not going to give him money. But anyways, I did want to go over the Buffalo Bills.
Before we get there,
yeah.
Chewy comes in and says he had 44 catches, 537, and 5 touchdowns in 21.
Yeah.
Most of that was with LA because the Browns didn't use him very much at all.
They stopped at the end, really, because they were trying to move him.
Yeah. So, and he
That's not
still
terrible.
has game. He still has game.
Yeah,
And you
and don't
saw it in
forget
the playoffs.
the Super Bowl. He caught
Yeah.
the first touchdown. Wasn't like Stafford was like not throwing to him.
Yeah.
He still can do his thing. Is he the OBJ we remember? Of course not. And that's okay. But can he still ball out a little bit? Yeah, sure. He can still make a play. Listen, we can go back and say Emmanuel Sanders last year. Emmanuel Sanders was aging, but he was still making plays here and there. He still contributed, right? So like, why not? I'm just saying we gave Sanders a try. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. So we'll see when that time comes. Right now though, I wouldn't expect anything getting done. So don't even worry about the OBJ thing. Right now, it's just all talks. I think him and Von Miller honestly are just having fun. I think they're just teasing each other. Yeah, they're friends or buddies. They're just teasing around. So moving on, the Buffalo Bills came out with the depth chart today. Now, mind you, it's not the day one, week one depth chart, but they had to put one out. We're gonna go ahead and put that up real quick for you, Mikey. Is there a way you can zoom that in or no?
I can try. Give me a second.
Let's see what Mikey can do for us blind folks.
How's that?
Yes.
Is that better?
Good. Yeah. So go ahead and read the starters, Mikey.
Okay. So the starters off the top. Obviously we have Gabe Davis and Isaiah McKenzie and Stephon Diggs at wide receiver. Our O-line is Deion Dawkins, Roger Saffold, Mitch Morris, Ryan Bates, which is 4 that we thought. But David Queensberry is actually slotted in over Spencer Brown, which doesn't surprise me knowing that Spencer had back surgery and they're still bringing him back slowly. This is pre-game 1 of the preseason.
Yep.
Then Allen and Devin Singletary are the offensive starters. Okay. Anything there catch you by surprise other than Queensberry?
Nothing, except for the Queensberry, and we already talked about this. Is because they're easing Spencer Brown back from the back injury. I think Spencer Brown is the starter week 1, as long as he's feeling good. There's no issues with the back after the back surgery. You know what I mean? Nothing happens during preseason if he plays. But other than that, no. I mean, everything there looks good. I'm just looking at the backups, what they have the order in. So
okay. So
I will say this though.
Let's go.
Well, I missed one. So McKenzie, they got McKenzie in right now.
Yeah.
Instead of Crowder. So that kind of stands out. I didn't see that. So McKenzie's having a very good camp. I will say this. Crowder, unfortunate for him, he's been hurt. He's now back, but he's slowly coming back. That's an interesting one. I will say that. So I changed my mind. That does pop up a little bit, because if Crowder doesn't have a good preseason, or he's not totally 100% back, and McKenzie is still showing that in preseason, McKenzie could take that job. He could. Now, I'm not saying Crowder will be cut, but I could see McKenzie taking that role. What do you think?
I think you're going to see a split there. I think it's going to be something along the lines of like 60-40 between the two guys.
Ugh, no, I don't, Chewy. God, no.
That's all he loves is Bobby Hart. Yeah, so I truly believe you're going to see both those guys this year. I think it's going to be closer to a 60-40 game matchup type of thing. I do believe McKenzie, if he continues the way he's playing today, he's going to lock down that opening day starting job. And then Crowder will just come in. I will tell you, when I'm looking at the second team, I see Isaiah Hodgins as the backup for Gabe Davis. I see Crowder and Kumaro. So Secure is really team 3 right now, third string.
Yeah, it's not looking good. He's really gonna have to ball out in preseason. I mean, he's really gonna have to show something, because right now I think he is like on the lowest. Marquez Stevenson, I'm sorry, I know you're talking about Shakir, but I'm talking about Stevenson. I think Stevenson.
Yeah, because he's third string too.
Yeah, I think
he's hurt right now.
Yeah,
he did something to his foot. He won't even be back for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think he is just. It's unfortunate. I just don't. Yeah, it's just not. And the way Khalil Shakir's playing, I know. Let me see on this depth chart here of the receiver. So
he's third string right now.
He's third string right now.
But they have him third string slot. third string slot right now.
But they could change that. He
will change that.
Be
you have to remember, this is pre-game 1 of the preseason.
Like, ain't no way Jake Kumero's behind Stephon Diggs. You get what I'm saying? Like, I could see, to be honest with you, I could see Shakir taking that and moving him from the slot.
So here's my question: do you think he takes Kumero's spot, or do you think he takes Isaiah Hodgins' spot? Because Isaiah's running with the second team behind Davis.
That's a good question. I don't know. That's once again
that goes back to that bubble thing we were talking about. Remember, we were talking about Hodgins, Kumaro, Austin, Stevenson, all those guys fighting for that last wide receiver spot.
Yeah, that's tough, Mikey. I mean, it's really, really tough. I don't know. Hodgins he has upside. He does, but his problem is staying healthy, and now he's been healthy.
Yeah, and
he has been. So, and he's had a good camp. So, once again, this boils down to what we talked about before: how important this preseason games are going to be for these guys. There's a lot of guys that really need to show.
And Kumaro is a special teams guy. Can Hodgins play teams? Because if you're going to be that sixth guy on the roster, you have to be able to play teams.
And yeah, I agree. All right, moving on. Defense. Go to defense.
No. Let's finish the O-line. The
O-line.
O-line. So then our second team O-line is left tackles Doyle. Then we have Ike Bacher as the second team left guard. Then we have Mans, Ford, Spencer Brown. So I'm surprised to see Bacher there, knowing that he is still on the pup.
Yeah, that's where it is. I don't think he's even going to be back till week 8. Like he had a bad.
He's going to start. He's going to start on the pup list.
Yeah. I don't see that. That's going to.
He has that Achilles injury that he had last year.
That's going to be now. Tommy Doyle's had a good camp, and I know they've been working. I know Cromer's been really working with him as far as like different positions. He's been all over. Like he's been left tackle, left guard, right guard. Like he's been
played everywhere but center.
Yeah, everywhere but center. So I think they have plans for Doyle. Yeah. I just think I think they're just testing the waters right now to see what sticks, like kind of like what he's best at. But I will say this: Tommy Doyle could work out to be like a Ryan Bates. I mean, if that's where they're going with this, like a guy that could play every position. And God forbid if, let's say Sappho goes down, let's say Quinzelbear, whatever, Ryan Bates goes down. This guy can come in and fill any of those positions, except for, like you said, center, because he hasn't done it yet. But that's good to know if that's what they're planning on doing. And it seems like Cromer, and he's done this with a couple players, actually. He's shifted them around already. And that's good. That's good because he wants to see what if these guys can excel at each position.
Queensberry is also the other guy who's played at all 4 of those positions outside of center.
Yeah.
Dawkins only plays left tackle. Brown has only played right tackle, but Queensberry and Doyle has bounced all around inside there. Ford's played both guards. Mans has been the center in both guards. So, you see that Bobby Hart has been getting first team run at left guard in Saffold's spot.
I know.
We have Y comes in and says, will Cody Ford or Bobby Hart make the team? I think Cody Ford makes the team. I don't think Bobby Hart does.
Listen, for as much as I don't like Cody Ford, I can't stand Hart. So there is no way that Hart makes it over Cody Ford. I can't see it happening. Like Mikey said way earlier in the podcast, they're not giving up on Cody Ford just yet. No. Like they are holding hope. Like they are crossing their fingers
that
praying
Homer can work his magic and get something out of it.
There is something hidden in Cody Ford that Cromer can find and get it out of the system and turn this Cody Ford into even a decent offensive lineman. Like just a guy that I know if he comes in, I could be like, okay. You know what I mean? This guy hurt. Cody Ford's coming in for. We'll be okay. You know what I mean? Not like I don't want to be sitting back on my couch going, "Oh God, Cody Ford, we're in trouble." Like I don't want that feeling. Yeah. Like when Bobby Hart came in, I remember I was like, "Oh my God." You know what I mean? Like everyone. It wasn't just me; it was everybody. There's not one guy that could tell me they were like, "We're okay." Bobby Hart's coming in. Like nobody. Like we were like, "Oh no." But when Ryan, for instance, I'll give a great example, Mikey. when we were screaming for Ryan Bates, by the way, me and Mikey all last season, when he was riding the bench, when he should have came in, right at left tackle, but we were like, yo, or left guard, sorry. We're like, what's going on here? My point is, he came in and no Bills fans were like, uh-oh. I think we were all kind of like, yeah, we know he can do it. We know he can do it. You know what I mean? We had a little bit of confidence in that guy. I don't have confidence in Bobby Hart. And I think right now Cody Ford is really pushing toward the Bobby Hart level unless he can Aaron Cromer could turn
he's having a better camp than Bobby Hart's having.
Which is good. That's good. Yeah. But I need to see it in preseason. I need to see him
I agree.
Excel, man, because if I don't, this could be the last season of the Cody Ford experience.
Well, this is his last year.
Yeah, I don't think they even sign him. Is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they would even welcome him back as a backup or rotational.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so here's another one I got for you. So running back, it goes Singletary, Moss, Cook. Does it surprise you to see Moss in the second string and not Cook?
Yes, but this is early. I don't think that's going to be. No, I don't think that's going to pan out. I think Cook will be RB2. I think Moss will still make the team, even though Moss is turning into a Cody Ford for me. And I think I don't think I'm alone.
Moss has had a really good camp, and they said he's
I know, I
healthy.
get that, I hope, I want to see it. I got like I said, camp. I love hearing good things out of camp, but I got to see it on game days, right? Like that's where I need to see it to be like, okay, like you know what I mean? Like I see what he's doing in camp. He's improved.
So you'll be watching for him in preseason.
100%. But right now, I would think they're like how I see it playing out is I still think Moss makes a team. I do because he's a draft pick, right? Third round. But I do see I see Cook being used a lot more than Moss because they're going to be using him in like a lot of passing downs. I really believe that. And I also think Moss, even though he makes the team, he could miss games. Like I could see him being a healthy scratch for certain games. You know, certain games are going to be like, okay, you know what? We don't need Moss. We need this player. We're going to sit him down, which they did last year. They did that. Moss didn't play every game last year. And very well, possibly, Duke Johnson could also make this roster, though I have him on the bubble. But I could also see him, depending on how his preseason goes, making it too, because they need a power back. They do, and he showed that last year. Like I think he's gotten a lot better, Duke Johnson, in that part of his game, like running in the middle, and pass catcher. Yeah. I think that's what they brought him in for. Like they didn't get what's the guys from Washington? McKissick. So they went out and got Duke, right? Obviously McKissick's a little better, but then they went ahead and drafted a guy and James Cook who is like a McKissick, right? But a little bit obviously younger, and I think they see him as a future running back. McKissick will always be what he is, right? I don't think McKissick will ever be like a solid running back. I think Cook has a little bit more upside than a McKissick, his career. What do you think on that? As far as comparing McKissick, like not comparing, but side by side, you know what I mean?
I think he has more upside. We know what McKissick is. He's a fantastic third down back. Why? Be nice.
No, listen. I do agree with him on this. I will say this: Moss has to improve his vision. His vision has been terrible. Like he does. That dude runs into the back of his own man a million times. I saw last year. Like he does not find the hole for some odd reason. Like I don't know if he's not being patient enough, right? Or if that's just the player he is. It's weird because college, he wasn't running. I did not see that part of his game. Like he was a little bit more, he was almost Devin Singletary-ish. He had a little cut to him. He wasn't like he didn't have that Devin Singletary totally cut, but he could still make a first guy miss. It just seems like this year, he just wants to go towards the guy. I don't understand. Like he's not trying to.
He's missed some holes. I wouldn't say he's missed all holes. I think a lot of times when he's running his own guys are getting pushed back into the backfield into him last year. Because Singletary had some of the same problems last year.
Yeah, but Singletary's average was 4.5 compared to 2.3. I mean, there's a huge difference, Mikey. And it's not like it's a different
you
line.
can't look at the averages based off that, because you're trying to match apples.
I'm not looking just at the average, but I'm looking at the gameplay in general.
Okay, but you could go back to some of the games, and Singletary had some of the same problems, and the issue becomes there is no hole. Your guy's getting pushed back into you.
I agree.
Don't get me wrong. I've seen him miss some holes, and he has run into some guys. But you can't make an overall statement saying the guy just runs into guys and falls down.
Yeah, but sometimes you gotta. Yeah, but Mikey, I get what you're saying.
It's easy for you to sit here and be an armchair coach. You're not behind that line running.
Listen, I agree. Listen, I've been saying that on the Devin Singletary argument. The offensive line he's worked with has been terrible.
I don't think the system he was in worked well with what his skill set is.
Either way, the offensive line was not good, and it hasn't been good since we lost Richie. Like, that whole line was really solid. Like when we had Shady here, like that was built to run, right?
You know who our offensive line coach was then?
I know.
Aaron Cromer.
Right. So I think things are changing in that aspect. But however, my point also goes to running backs also have to create sometimes, right? With a bad offensive line, correct? Like, even if you have a bad offensive line, good running backs sometimes create their own ways, right? Create their own space, create their own lane to run through, whatever. It's not always going to be a perfect blocking, job. I'm just saying, like, Barry Sanders had a terrible offensive line, and I don't compare him to Barry Sanders, but I'm just saying the Lions offensive line was trash.
You're picking out the greatest running back ever.
I'm just saying, listen, there's players that create their own lanes. There is. You have to create a little bit, Mikey. Can't just rely always on a perfect, wide open gap hole. Correct or no?
No, I'm not saying he is.
Okay, so my point is Devin Singletary, when he runs, I've seen players in the backfield right away, right? Terrible job blocking. And Devin Singletary, to his credit, can maybe miss 1 or 2 and still get 3.5, 4 yards on a play that could have been busted. With Zach Moss, I feel like he just goes down instantly. Like, he doesn't make that guy miss. He just gets caught up.
Okay. You're looking at all the big negatives. You're not looking at any of the positives of Zach Moss.
I know he does good positive. I've seen games where Moss has played well. But overall, and I think I'm not the only one, a lot of Bills Mafia agrees that Zach Moss has not performed very well. And
I don't disagree. He hasn't lived up to the third round selection to this point. But he's also played through an injury last year that affected him. That it's come out and said that affected him. So
yeah, man.
When you start trying to compare apples and oranges, you can't.
Hey, what's going on, Dallas?
All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, being hard on it, what?
The end of the day is work to do, guys.
Is it? We'll see. We'll see him in preseason. We'll see him Saturday.
Listen, for as much as we're talking about Cromer, right? Mm-hmm. And what he's going to do to this offensive line, right? And we were talking about Cody Ford. Yeah. Same goes to Zach Moss, correct?
Yeah.
Because now that you got a guy that knows what he's doing, not OG Bobby Johnson, right? A guy that's going to get this offensive line to where they should be, there's no more excuses, right? So if Cody Ford is the same Cody Ford we've been seeing, then he is who he is. Yeah. If Zach Moss comes in and he's the same Zach Moss that we've been seeing,
he is who he is.
Then he is who he is. So I'm going to give you kind of the benefit of the doubt for now. Let's see how it plays out, right? Because I totally understand what you're saying in a way, but I'm just saying, as of right now, I can kind of see why Bills Mafia a little bit frustrated with him because I don't disagree. Because if Devin Singletary, let's just say hypothetically, was getting 2.7 yards a carry, I'm just saying same kind of play. I think, man,
Mafia was killing Singletary the last couple of years.
Yes, and I'll be honest with you, they never should have been. And I
in your opinion, yes.
In my opinion, because I thought the stats didn't lie. Because he had a decent rookie season. He averaged 5.1 per carry, which tied with what's his name from the Titans, Derrick Henry. So he was tied for first in yards per run. He had 875. We barely used him. We used Frank Gore in the beginning. So I don't see any reason to complain his rookie season. His next season, we had the worst offensive line. All we did was pass. And he still had almost 600-700 yards. And then last season, he had 850 again, 4.7, with still not a very good line. So I don't understand. I'm just saying, I don't understand why the complaining on him. I understand on Zach Moss, because even though you said stats don't matter, they kind of do.
I didn't say stats don't matter. I said stats don't tell the whole story.
Okay, stats don't. But also, I'm just saying they come into play. So Zach Moss definitely has not even performed anything close to what we've probably envisioned him. Correct? So far,
yeah. I
to date.
He did his rookie year. He played really well his rookie year. Then he
got hurt
his ankle,
right.
And then he was never right last year. And
broke his ankle.
They talked about it.
Was bad. Yeah, it was a bad injury.
So,
which that's a good point, Mikey. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Could that play a part of maybe him just not? He's not.
I mean, they talked
mentally.
about it. Well, they talked about it. They said physically he wasn't right last year. He was battling through that ankle injury all of last year. Beans talked about it. Dorsey's talked about it. Moss has talked about it.
Okay. So hey, let's see. Like I said, preseason is going to tell a lot. Even though it's basic play calling, running the ball isn't basic. You're going to do what you're going to do, right? It's like the line. You know what I mean? Like that's not a play call where it's a crazy call. You're going to run the ball. So we'll see.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mikey.
Okay. So let's move into the defense. First, before we end that, Dallas, I agree with you. It'd be great to actually have an O-line that's healthy and have everybody there for a practice.
Jesus.
I agree 1,000%.
It's like, man.
So let's look at the defense. Edge, Greg Rousseau and Von Miller. They've actually put Von Miller as an edge, which is a great sign.
Yes.
D tackles, it's Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones. Those four was what we expected. Milano and Edmonds at backer. Tyrell Dodson and the Matakevich third linebacker role makes sense. Johnson, White, and Jackson as the corners. Hyde and Poyer as safeties. First team defense does not, and nothing sticks out to me there. That's about what we expected.
Yeah, nothing at all sticks out. That will be except for Trey.
Team.
Except for Trey until he
comes.
Well,
Trey could be there week one.
Yeah, he could be, but I still don't think so. But if he is, then yes, that will 100% be your starting line right there.
Yeah, starting defense. So looking at the second team, it's Boogie Basham and AJ Epinesa, Jordan Phillips and Tim Settle. That's about what we expected for the second team. Linebackers, Andre Smith. Seeing Terrell Bernard actually in the middle linebacker spot surprised me. Then Joe Giles Harris. And then nickel, you had Saron Neal. The two corners is Christian Benford and Kyer Elam, with the two safeties as Johnson and Hamlin. None of that surprises me.
Isn't what's his name? Andre Smith suspended?
Yeah, he's still, but he won't. That won't happen to take place until week one. He pops up on all these preseason depth charts.
No, I wanted to clarify that.
6 games.
6 games, yeah. So,
yeah.
Okay. So nothing there. I will say this though. Actually, no, I take that back. Christian Benford is kind of
over Cam Lewis.
That is a surprise there. So I'll take that back. I'm sure you take that back as well.
No,
because I'm just saying. I don't think Benford. I'm just saying coming in to training camp. Like I understand we're
coming into training camp.
Yeah. Like Benford was drafted 6th round? Am I right on that? 6th round?
6th round.
So I don't think anyone really thought like this guy's gonna flourish like right away, maybe. And he's done very, very well. So yes, like now it doesn't surprise me, but looking back, like if we were to see this lineup early on, I'd be like, who? You know what I mean? Like, why is he there? So, man, awesome. Another guy, like we talk about, a late round pick who's shining for Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott. It's wild, man, how they hit on these. Now, I'm not going to call it a total hit until the season starts. But as of right now, it's looking good. How about that, guys?
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
And then looking at the third string, you have Love and Shaq Lawson, was about what we expected. From the DNs, you have Brandon Bryan, Eli Anku as your defensive tackles, what I expected. Spector, Matakevich, and Lee as the third string linebackers, what I expected. Cam Lewis, Jamarcus Ingram, and Tim Harris. With Nick McLeod and Josh Thomas as your safeties. Seeing Nick McLeod at safety kind of caught me by surprise as well, because I know he's been splitting time, and I would have expected him to be that second outside corner. But to see him actually, moved to safety was a kind of a shocker.
Yeah, that is interesting. Maybe they're just once again they're doing something like where they're testing the waters.
Yeah,
they're floating him.
He's been
around.
making a lot of plays at safety too, though.
Yeah, he's another player who's had a really good camp, who actually played good last season. I thought he had a good preseason. McLeod.
He did. He actually got when we cut him, he got picked up by the Bengals, I believe it was, for like a week or two, and then he got released and he came back to Buffalo's practice squad.
Yeah. So I'm glad he came back because he's showing his work so far in camp. So yeah, it's always good to have this kind of depth guys, like these guys that are already showing out in camp, and it's not like they're going against a crappy offense, guys. Like, we have a very good offense. Man, this is crazy, Mikey. This roster, offense and defense that we just went through, is on paper. I mean, geez, it's
really deep. It's really deep. Like,
deep,
when I've heard a lot of people talk about like the second team defense, is I can see a lot of those second team defensive guys starting on some other teams' rosters, or second team offensive guys starting on other people's rosters. Like, if that was your first team, you had to sprinkle some of those guys in, you would be like, okay, we were okay.
I don't see Punk God there. Where do they got him?
We'll get down to specialists. We're not there yet.
Okay.
We haven't got to specialists yet. But looking here, ultimately, yeah, I agree from the defensive standpoint. Daniel Garis comes in and says, McDermott knows how to find and develop CDs. And it's not just McDermott. It's McDermott and Frazier. Frazier played secondary, was on that 85 Bears team as a corner. Frazier comes from that background as well. Those two guys just have such a good feel for it. They took, Jordan Poyer, who was just a cast-off, turned him into an all-pro safety. Micah Hyde, who was a nickel corner for Green Bay, turned him into an all-pro safety. Levi Wallace, a walk-on Alabama undrafted free agent, turned him into a 4-year starter. Like they get the best out of, and if you look at their track record, you go back to his Carolina days, McDermott did the same thing there. And you go back to the Philly days back with Jim Johnson, they did it there. So he comes from that background, so it doesn't surprise me. I absolutely agree with Daniels there. Chewy coming in saying he heard Bernard's making coaches notice him. Both of them, Bernard and Benford, the two rookies, are putting on a show this camp and opening eyes on the defensive side of the ball. And you see that by their second team defense designations.
Yeah. Yeah, no, man. There's a lot of guys making notice, like they're making noise in camp.
Cook, like a lot of rookies are making noise in camp. Shakir and Cook on the offense. Benford and Bernard on the defense.
I haven't heard much of, and somebody came in with a chat.
Dallas came in and talked about Shaq Lawson in camp.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything bad though. At the same time,
he's been solid. He's what I heard is Shaq Lawson is what we thought he was when he left. Shaq Lawson is who he is. He's He's a solid defender who will get you, a half a dozen sacks at a time.
I'll tell you who I'm excited about, Mikey, on this defense. I'm excited about all of them, but Jordan Phillips seems like he has some I have a weird feeling, bro.
You have to remember the last time we saw him, he had 9.5 sacks.
I know. I mean, that was a little bit ago, but I just think I could see by the way he talks, handles himself, he has some edge to him. Like he wants to, it's almost like I'm here on a 1-year deal. Like I'm happy to be back, but I want to prove something. It's almost like You know what I mean? I'm going to be soft because he's being very soft spoken in a way. But
Mhm.
I think this dude, when week 1 hits, is ready to blow up, dude. Right? Because he is just being too. I could just tell, he's taking all that training camp, right? All
Mhm.
that's just boiling in him because we know Jordan Phillips. He's a high energy guy.
Yeah.
Since day 1, when we traded for him, he came in like, and I was like,
because he had something to prove. He had something to
right.
prove
And
when
I
he left
feel
Miami.
and I feel like it's just he's taking everything in.
You also have to remember. You have to remember he left Buffalo playing a 3 tech, being a penetrating guy. He went to Arizona where they put him at the 1 tech. And we talked about this the other day. So his job wasn't to penetrate. His job was to eat blockers. That's not his game.
Nope, not at all.
So now he's excited to be back in this defense.
Back with Frazier.
Back with Frazier and McDermott and Oliver. And now, and also when he does come in the game, he's sitting next to Von Miller.
Yeah, sitting next to a lot of guys actually.
Yeah,
that
Daquan Jones, who's a true 1 tech, body eater. And if you leave Daquan Jones 1-on-1 and you don't put 2 on him, he's going to eat whoever's in the backfield up.
Yeah. I just think
the guy. That's funny. You talk about Jordan Phillips. The one I'm really excited about is Tim Settle.
Dude, me too. I'm excited about this whole. I'll be honest with you. The whole defense line, the whole line there, is I can't wait. Like Gregory Rousseau, second season,
so much in Washington.
Oh, it's Settle.
I'm so excited to see Settle get some run here, and
they were
more
so upset
time.
when he left. They were Washington fans were so mad.
He was playing behind 4 first-round picks.
I know, dude. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. I just think a lot of these guys have either a chip on their shoulders, something to prove. Like I said, man, the fact that Jordan Phillips and Shaq came back together, it just speaks volumes. And I just like I said, I don't know why I'm thinking of Jordan. It's just the Jordan Phillips thing is just weird because he's just
because he's back. He's excited.
But he's not showing it yet. You know what I mean? He's been so, like I said, it's almost like he's taking it all in and ready to just unleash
fury. Unleash the fury.
I'm serious, man. This dude, come on, man. Think about it. That whole Josh Allen scrimmage thing, when they got to push in or whatever. I thought, listen, and I get it's your quarterback, but a lot of defensive line, no matter whatever player gets pushed, they're going to push back. They're going to want to, Jordan Phillips kind of handled it very well.
He did.
Right? He didn't overreact. I thought afterwards he was just hey, he was so soft-spoken about it. Yeah, but I could promise you, when the season starts,
he's not looking to beat up his own team. This week we're playing, Saturday.
Yeah,
you're gonna start seeing that aggressive Jordan Phillips.
Yeah, and the guy that is hyping up Bill's Mafia.
Yeah.
That's the part I remember the most, when he came and he had a first sack and he was like, ugh, and I'm like, dude, this guy's the man, bro. But anyways, go ahead, Mikey.
Okay, so we're moving on.
What up, Justin? Is Justin new to the channel, Mikey?
No, I think Justin's been here before.
Okay, well,
how you doing, bud?
What's going on, brother? Go ahead.
So we're looking at specialists. They have Tyler Bass, Matt Hawk as the first team punter. Tavon Austin is the first team punt returner. McKenzie is the kick returner, and then Reed Ferguson. Second team is Ariza. Shakir is the punt returner, and Duke Johnson is the kickoff returner. Third team, it's Duke as the punt returner, Cook as the kickoff returner. You know who you don't see on here? Stevenson anywhere.
I know. No, it's not good.
Which is not a good sign for him.
That's not good at all. I am interested the Duke Johnson and the kickoff. I would rather have McKenzie and Cook back there, or
Shakir.
McKenzie and Shakir on kickoffs, and have Tavon. I like Tavon as punt returner because he has experience, and I kind of trust him. He's done this multiple times, and he enjoys it. The kick return, no. McKenzie, Like he can be electric, and then he also can make a lot of mistakes.
The fumble against Indy came on the kickoff.
Self-inflicted, by the way. He just dropped it. Like you know what I mean? Like you can't put the ball on the ground with nobody even touching you. Like that's a problem. Like, but then there's plays where I'm like, damn, McKenzie. Remember against Pittsburgh, opening game last year?
Yeah,
he almost took it to the house.
He did take it back and it got called back.
No, he didn't. We just
okay. He had two that he took back to the house last year
zone.
that got called back.
Yeah, but no, that one almost went to the. I think he got tackled like the 15 or 20, and we scored a field goal. That was the field goal game where we terrible red zone work.
Yeah,
but yeah, that kind of surprised me. The Duke Johnson thing, like he is not going to be. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to either be Shakir and McKenzie back there. Or even James Cook, but I think Austin, as long as Austin doesn't have any screw ups, in preseason,
he's gonna be our.
He's.
You think he's gonna be that last?
I do because of the ability of punt return. Okay. He's gonna be the Andre Roberts of the receiver group. You know what I mean? Where his job is is punt return.
I think you might see him in the old Isaiah McKenzie role. Gadget guy,
could be.
and
that's
returner.
Interesting. That's interesting. Well, that also depends on if McKenzie gets that slot.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Now, if McKenzie doesn't get that slot, then no, I don't think Austin does that. I think McKenzie goes back to being that guy. But if McKenzie wins that slot job, you're right. I could see Austin being that gadget guy. 100%, Mikey. 100%. Mm-hmm.
And then looking here with Ariza as second team, if you look here, you see all of them. Elam second team, Ariza second team. All the young guys, because McDermott, he makes them earn it. No one's given anything. You have to earn it. Shakir's third team.
Yeah, Chewy. The only reason I don't know if Duke, I understand your point, but I don't know if they're gonna just keep Duke on the team for blocking.
For kick returns, for just kickoff returns.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like I just
if he wins out over Zach Moss for some reason,
right?
Because I can't see them keeping more than 3 running backs because their fourth running back is gonna be is our special teams guy,
right?
I can't think of his name off the top of
Gillingham.
my head.
Gillingham.
No.
The
gunner.
Yeah, you're talking about Tywan Jones.
Tywan Jones. Thank you. Yeah. Couldn't think of his name off the top of my head because Jones is going to be that fourth guy. So they're not going to keep 5 running backs.
No. You're 100%. They're not. You're right. Yeah.
But ultimately, what this depth chart shows is what a lot of what we originally thought, and the rookies have to earn their job. So we'll see what this looks like when after week 1, week 2 of the preseasons, and those rookies have a chance to show what they can do in actual games.
Yep. All right. Well, that was hey, that's kind of what we expected, to be honest with you. A couple things that were
surprising.
Surprising. I think the Benford one is a little surprising because I don't think we saw that early on. We didn't talk about the punting. So Matt Hawk, we did, but we didn't get into. So Matt, right now they got Hawk 1.
No,
right?
Yeah, they have Hawk 1.
Right.
But I was listening to the shout earlier, and I was listening to Perino and Talbot talk about this. And they said, although Matt Hawk is listed as the starter, that's because they don't ever, just give roster spots to guys. You have to earn it.
Right.
They believe the punt god is winning the competition as of today, but on paper, he's got to earn that.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I think Ariza is going to be our punter this year.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it says, but going into week 1, it doesn't surprise me to see a Hawk there.
Would it shock you? Because I heard, what was I listening to? Was it? I think it was Matt Perino. They were talking about this. Yeah, so they were talking about this. I think they were talking about the holding, and I think it was during the blue and red they were talking about, and how Hawk was just, the kicks were going beautiful, right? Every time Hawk held the ball.
Ariza has been money.
But they say the kicks weren't perfect, like they were okay.
See, I heard the other way. I heard Ariza's were all perfect.
Was it okay? I don't know. So either way, but
do you think they would hold lock for just holding? Is that what you're trying to get at?
That's where I'm trying. That's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
I doubt it. I highly, 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 highly doubt it.
Not with this deep of a roster.
Right.
Not with this deep of a roster.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I highly doubt it, but it would be interesting if if Punk God just cannot do it. Though you say he's doing well, that's a good sign.
His Bass has yet to miss a kick.
Okay, that's good.
With Punk God holding.
That's good. That's really good. What else was I going to ask you real quick? I forgot what I was going to. I had something on my mind I was going to ask you about. That's all right. That's all right. But yeah, no. Either way, I think Punt God, Matt Arise, I think he makes a team. I think I think Hawk gets cut. I just can't see.
I like that Dallas comes in. He says, "Do you think we should still add a vet corner?" It depends on Trey. If Trey's going to be out, yes, I would love to see a Joe Hayden or AJ Bayou,
he ain't signed for a reason,
or any of those guys come in as a vet corner. I do. Yes, I would love to see that. But if Trey White's gonna be back week 1, I don't think we need one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just I agree with you there. It depends. I think it all boils down to Trey's like how he's coming along during this whole process during camp, leading up to week 1. I think they're gonna just wait it out. And I think if they feel like maybe like he's just not ready to go until week 8, let's say after the bye, or even late, let's say week 4, right? Then maybe they go and get like a Hayden or something like that. And then,
if they put him on the IR to start the year, which means the first 4 weeks, I can see us going out and getting a veteran.
Yeah, they might need to because then you got a really young.
Yeah, because then you have Dane Jackson as your veteran, who's year 2, and then you have 2 rookies behind him in Benford and Elam.
Right.
There's no veteran in that room, so I could see that. But before we get out of here, I wanted to ask you. I wanted to get into a little bit of this upcoming week. What do you expect?
Those Godfather. Welcome to the channel. I don't know if you've ever been on the channel, but
Godfathers, we appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Hey, subscribe.
Yes, I'm 100% on board with you, Godfather. Punt God will have the job by week 1. And for those of you who haven't already done it, please like the video, subscribe to Mafia Sports Report and Buffalo Fan Base, and hit the notification button. We appreciate 100%. That. It just helps the analytics for us to get out there more. But when we're talking about week 1, what are you expecting to see? Are you expecting to see much of your first team offense?
Colts versus Bills at 1 p.m. I expect a packed house. Right away, I can tell you that. I expect no starters playing. I just don't. I mean, maybe a series, maybe. And I think this is an opportunity for special teams to shine, like kickoff returns, punt returns. That's what I want to see, because that's a very important. I also want to see field goals. I do, even though it sounds weird. I want to see how Ariza holds the ball. I'm going to make sure that in live action, not camp, not blue on red, that he doesn't have the jitters, because listen, you got guys coming after you now, right?
Yep.
So I want to see that he's comfortable with that. I want to see him punting the ball properly, like meaning corner kicks, hang time. Like I'm looking for that. On offense, I want to see if McKenzie plays, which I think he will, how he does now in that slot role. And I also want to see a little bit of Khalil Shakir against a defense, a real defense, not against your guys. Like
I think you're gonna see a lot of Shakir in this game.
Yeah,
guys, I don't expect to see. I don't expect to see Allen. I don't expect to see Diggs.
Right.
Don't expect to see Dawkins. Some of those guys, some of our superstars, like on the defense side. Yep. I'm not expecting to see Von Miller or Mike Hyde or Poyer or Trey. We'll see some of those guys still in there.
Elam is going to be important.
We'll see Elam in there. We'll see Dane Jackson in there.
Benford
in there. I don't know if week 1 we'll see Milano and Edmonds. If they do, it'll be a very short But we'll see more of the Tim Settles and Jordan Phillips and AJs and Boogies and those guys early.
Yeah.
We'll probably see Queensberry and Bates.
Yep.
I don't know if Morris will play. He's a veteran. I don't know if he'll get much run, but Singletary and Moss and Cook and all those guys are going to get a lot of play. So it's those superstars you're not going to see. The Allens, the Diggs, the Von Millers, those guys, the Poyers, the Hydes, those guys are all going to be sitting with caps on. And we'll see some of the other guys in there mixed and matched. I do expect to see a little bit of Gabe. I probably won't see a lot of him.
Yeah,
Cook,
Dallas. Yep. I think Cook.
Yeah,
Cook would
we're probably going to see a lot of Cook. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of Cook.
You're going to see also, I think, a lot of
Moss.
Moss as well. They want to see if Moss is, I also think the backup quarterback, Keenum.
You'll probably see Keenum first half, Barkley second half would be my guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Man, Keenum looked like he aged like 20 years. Not that I look young or anything. I'm just saying, like, his press conference looked like my uncle up there. Like, he looked old as hell. But hey, if he still has it, he's
yeah. What's that, like 34, 35 now?
I know, and he's not.
He's older.
I'm an old man, but I'm just saying, like, he looks like if I were to see that guy, I wouldn't think he's a football. I'm just
whoa,
like, he just looks like an old dude, man.
Chewy says Cook will only have 47 total yards. How much playing time is going to get Chewy to have 47 yards?
Damn, that's a weird number.
I don't. Like,
47
tell me how many touches.
Wait, rushing yards or 47 total yards?
Total yards. And how many touches? Are you going to tell me?
Okay, total.
Yeah, it says total
and
yards.
A touchdown. Damn. All right, he's going all out. Okay.
First half. Okay. If he gives me 47 and a touchdown in the first half, I'm game with that.
I'll take it all day.
I'll take that all day long. Then sit him down.
Sit him down. Dude, that means he would be average.
But Cook may get that 47 and a touchdown in his first carry or first swing pass and be done for the day.
Yeah, dude.
He has that explosiveness. So okay.
That's not a crazy thing to throw out there. I can see that. 100%. I can see something like 50 yards and a touchdown, like total yards. Why not? Shit. To be honest with you, he might get more depending on how long he plays in that first half. Because if they're using him on passing downs,
that could be one touch. That 47 touchdown.
Yes,
he has that explosive ability.
Mikey's 100%. He could have two dynamic plays, and their coach
in the red and blue game, he had a couple big catches for long runs of like 30 or 40 yards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely, that's definitely possible because he is that kind of player. Like, he's dynamic when he has the ball in his hand, especially in open space. Like, if he gets a pass thrown to him by Keenum, and he has a couple yards ahead of him, and he can make a player miss and take it to the house. Like, that's what he did in Georgia.
Yep. Some guys I'm excited about seeing, depth guys. I'm excited about seeing Isaiah Hodgins finally healthy and playing.
Yes, you're right.
Excited about seeing Isaiah Hodgins. We talked about Shakir. I'll be excited to watch Nick McLeod at safety. I'll be excited to see these young corners. I'm also excited to see what DeMar Hamlin looks like at safety.
Oh, I love Hamlin.
Me too.
Hamlin.
I was a big.
It's another pick. That's another late pick. We're like, that's turning out to be pretty good. Like,
really. You talked about it a little bit. Really interested in the return game. See how these guys do. But oh man, I'm so excited about seeing some of these guys.
I gotta ask. Like, I'll ask you, and I'll ask you guys in the chat. And be honest. Is this the most exciting preseason you remember as a Buffalo Bills fan? And I'll ask you first, Mike, since the chat is the
Yes. And the reason for it is a bunch of the young players that we have that we want to see what we got in those guys. Because we do have some older guys on the team, but we want to see if these young guys can push those older guys off the roster.
If you're looking forward to see Bobby Hart, I hope to God that Matt Barkley's in there at that time.
But Matt Barkley is not happy with you saying that.
because Matt Barkley has a little, he's a little weight to him, and he can maybe take 5 good hits from a defensive player that whiffed totally around the bad blocking by Bobby. All I remember last year with Bobby Hart preseason was guys just going around.
No, The 1990 season was his most excited one.
Oh, okay. Hey.
I would say in my time, because 1990 was still early in my football, stages. I would say this is probably the most excited I've been about preseason.
So
because there's a lot of young guys that I want to watch.
I will ask Chewy. I don't know where you're from, but are you from Buffalo? Because I would agree with you on that, but I was born in Florida, raised there a lot. I'm in Michigan now, but when I started watching Buffalo Bills in '89, I was in Florida. So you got to remember, like NFL Sunday Ticket, all that stuff wasn't around. So me catching NFL Buffalo Channel. Bills game. Yeah. So like, especially like preseason, you know what I mean? Like they weren't airing.
And you didn't hear nothing about training camps like we do today.
No, nothing. So like, I couldn't get, now if you're in the Buffalo area, then yeah, like
he's born and bred.
Is he? Okay. So then I listen, if I was in Buffalo, then I probably would agree with you. I would probably say 90, 91, 93, because I would be so pissed that we lost the Super Bowl. We're ready to come back. I totally agree with you there. Yeah. But because I wasn't in Buffalo, I have to say right now is my most like, I am just like excited to watch preseason. This is definitely
I'm excited to watch a preseason game that's not going to see our superstars in there. Because there's so many intriguing young guys that we get to go watch.
Like how many times, Mikey, like in the previous years where you're like, like I'll go shopping. I'll go get something. You know what I mean? Like you weren't that into the preseason
I didn't watch a ton of preseason games ever. I'm probably more into it today because of the content creation piece of it that we do.
Okay.
So, so I need to talk about more stuff. So I'll probably watch, I watched a bunch last year because we started this last year. But before that, I would say I wasn't that like, there wasn't a lot of young guys I was super excited to see. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
I am really excited about some of the young guys we have. And I'm excited because we have a coaching staff that helps grow, mold these guys. Like before you would get a 7th, 6th, 7th round guy, and you'd be like, okay, he's depth, he's training camp guy, and then you'll never see him again. Because we didn't have the player personnel pieces that actually helped guys grow. Like we saw the Levi Wallaces grow with this team. We saw the Reggie Gilliams that came in. We've seen those guys, the Ryan Bates. Like, who's our next wave? That's what I'm looking at. Who's the next wave that we're going to be looking at that may be here?
I think, and I'll retract. So I still say this is the most exciting, but I will say the time I remember, the very last time going back, was Josh Allen's rookie year. I will say that I was super excited, and I got to see.
You're right.
They had a live game. I forget the team, but that's when I knew something was special about him. When I think we were on the goal line, and it's
the first game, and he threw that dart
side. He sidestepped the guy.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
He sidestepped like a guy coming to get him.
Yeah,
and bro, it was a freaking laser.
And the back of the end zone.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, right? Like, that was really nice. Like, he worked his feet well. He didn't get he wasn't nervous in the pocket when it broke down. But yeah, that preseason, I was excited because I was like, we finally got a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, even though he wasn't starting, I was still so excited to see what, he could do in the preseason.
So two questions in the chat before we get out.
Go ahead.
One, tell me one guy you're most excited, most intrigued about. Intrigued, I would say it fits between Cook and Shakir. I am so excited to see those two play.
That is a good question. That's a really good question. Intrigued.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you think about that for a second.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna go into the second question.
So much.
I'm gonna go into the second question. And Dallas asks, any vets play? So guys I don't expect to play on the offensive line. I think Dawkins, Saffold, Morris are all going to sit.
Okay.
I don't expect to see any of those veterans there.
Yeah, Saffold.
You know what I mean? On the defensive side, I don't expect to see Miller. I don't expect to see Daquan Jones. I don't know if we'll see Ed Oliver. If we do, it'll be very short. Same with the other guys. And then not that we'd see Trey White anyways, but then Poyer and Hyde I don't expect to see. All the rest of the guys are Stephon Diggs. Those are basically the main ones I don't expect to see. All the rest of the guys I see playing.
All right. Okay. So Kyer Elam is one.
Okay.
I want to see how he handles his,
They only asked for one
on game day, but I'm going to give you two because Mikey gave two. Just saying.
Oh, you gotta be like me, huh?
I gotta be like Mikey. I should go three and just be totally against you, but I would say Kyer Elam, and I want to say the punt guy. I am very interested in how he punts and holds the ball. Like I know it's.
I'm hoping we don't see the punt guy.
No,
I hope our offense just goes up and down the field and we don't even see the punt guy.
I definitely want to see the punt guy because he needs work, and I think. Listen, the way they're going to call plays here, Mikey, you know this preseason. You think Ken Dorsey ain't running nothing special. It's going to be very Tecmo Bowl play calling here, right? Like Tecmo Bowl as you can get.
Because they're not playing to win the game. They're playing to get work in.
100%. And the players know this. Now, do they want – Of course I would love a win, but I don't care. I want to see guys flourish. You know, the Detroit Lions went 4-0 in preseason and went 0-17, 0-16 that same season. So, it means nothing. It's just for players to make the team and for coaches to evaluate.
Sophia, welcome. And yes, he has been perfect so far. He doesn't have quite the hang time that Hawk has right now, but his balls have been going farther. He gets about 5 yards further in a kick on average. Is what I heard.
But he does need to work. Listen,
on hang time.
He 100%.
But his hang time has gotten better as camp has gone on.
Yeah, which is good. Like he's going. Listen, he's fairly new at punting. Like he was not a punter.
1 year. He was a kicker.
Right. So you got to understand that, right? That same with Gregory Rousseau. By the way, I know we're switching, but Gregory Rousseau was not an edge when he went to Miami. He was like a receiver or something, like
safety.
Right. So he's going to have to put the work in to learn how to do hang time. And I don't think it's a bad thing that Hawk is there, to be honest with you, because Hawk, I'm sure he's
great
a veteran.
mentor.
He's showing him even though he's terrible, he's still showing him the ropes. So
stop saying he's terrible. He's below average.
Yeah, he's below average. So I think Hawk will be fine, but he does need to learn that little hang time because the one thing kick return, punt returners love are line drive kicks. They absolutely love them. So he will need to work on that, but I think he will, and he'll be all right.
Yeah, me too. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone in the chat. You guys always make this show fun. Come in here and you get your questions. You guys, me and Tommy have about an hour outline, and we always end up an hour and a half, hour 45 because
we always
well, I'm saying because of the questions that the chat throws in helps drive the show. We couldn't do this without you guys, so we really appreciate you.
Anything coming up, Mikey, that you want to address real quick before everybody gets off?
For us, on not so much this week, but on the 19th, Friday Night Lights comes back on Mafia Sports Report. Tommy and I that'll be the preview for each week's game on Friday night. And then on September 3rd, we have a fantasy show coming to Mafia Sports Report called Fantasy Kingdom. It'll be Tommy, myself, and a new host, Howie, who will be talking about some fantasy football and having a little bit of fun.
So if you love fantasy
but we
football,
have a ton of stuff over on Mafia Sports Report. We have Jason Malloy, who's running two separate ones. He's running a hockey one and a baseball one. Yep. We have the Wrestling Podcast.
Yep.
And then we have thank you. And then we have Nuclear Heatwave Wrestling Podcast. We have the Rally Towel Sports Guys doing all sports. And then over on Buffalo Fan Base, we have shows every night of the week. So make sure you click, subscribe, like, share, review, come in the content, tell us what you liked and didn't like. Tommy and I get in there and respond as much as we can.
And one more thing, guys. One more small favor for me and Mikey. We are at 1,900 subscribers right now. We are trying to get to that 2,000 subscribers by the season. If you guys can, if you haven't already subscribed, obviously, please subscribe. And if you have friends that are Bills fans, even if they're not Bills fans, but they like pro wrestling or they like the Buffalo Sabres or they like baseball talk
or basketball,
have them subscribe for us, man. Like honestly, it would really help, and it would really we would appreciate it. It would help the channel grow more, and that's where we're trying to get this to for you guys to just get a lot of different content out there that's fun. Get guys on here that are just having a good time with you guys. So if you guys could do that for us, that'd be awesome. And you know, I appreciate you guys once again. Yep.
Let's close this bad boy out with the best closing theme in the business.
Yeah, Mikey knows it. The Bills make me want to shout. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Peace out, guys.